Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the brand new Extreme Z battle that has come out on Dbz Dokkan Battle Global for Metal Cooler. Now we're going to be taking a look at just how difficult this event is, but this is fusion with the big Gete star Metal Cooler. And basically it is a brand new Extreme Z battle that features Extreme Z Awakenings for 3 units. So it's a pretty nice kind of event. Obviously Super TEQ and Extreme TEQ units are effective here, and powerful comeback units are effective here. Now something very important is basically that, or at least to understand, is that obviously there are 3 units to awaken here, but you only get the medals for Cooler from the first run. You are going to have to rerun for the other units. Now, Cooler's Extreme Z Awakening is pretty solid. He has Wicked Bloodlines category, Key +4, and HP attack and defense of 170%, or AGL type units of 120%. He will raise attack for 1 turn and cause immense damage to the enemy and lower attack and defense. He has Key +2 and attack and defense of 150%, plus an additional attack and defense of 20% with each attack received up to 100%. You also have an additional Key +1 and chance of performing a critical hit of +20% when there is a superclass enemy, plus an additional Key +1 and chance of performing a critical hit +20% when there is a Pure Saiyans category enemy. He recovers 10% HP at the end of the turn in which an attack was received, and a call will appear when conditions are met, which is when health is 50% or below. Whilst in the core mode, he basically massively raises attack, but also has Key +2. It's a giant form mode. Then, alongside him, we have the Piccolo. Strength Piccolo gets a pretty nice awakening as well. He gets attack and defense of 200% and randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to strength. He also gets an additional attack and defense of 20% per key sphere obtained, and gets Key +2 plus an additional attack and defense of 50% and a chance of performing a critical hit +20% when facing only one enemy. He will also perform a critical hit once only and has Key +6 when facing 2 or more enemies, which is obviously, at least from my side, I think pretty good. He's got a really nice EZA overall. Also raises defense for 1 turn. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see just how good he is after his EZA. He's one that I'm quite excited to use, because if he's pretty good, you can use him alongside Nail on the Planet Namek team, which I think, well, not Planet Namek, on the Namekians, just gives a little bit more oomph to the team. You've also got him on Movie Heroes, and he's also on Battle of Wits, so pretty good stuff. Then we have the Super Saiyan Vegeta, which is obviously pretty solid. He has TEQ type attack plus 35% per TEQ key sphere obtained, greatly raises defense for 1 turn and causes supreme damage with a high chance of stunning the enemy. He has attack and defense of 200% and chance of performing a critical hit +20%, plus an additional attack and defense of 50% and chance of performing a critical hit of +20% when there is another Movie Heroes category ally attacking in the same turn. He has Key +2 plus an additional attack and defense of 50% and chance of performing a critical hit +30% when HP is 80% or less. Then if your HP goes further down, he will gain an additional Key +2, attack of 50% and chance of performing a critical hit of +30% when HP is 50% or less. This is pretty impressive because basically he can really stack up the attack and defense modifiers, and he can really have a very, very impressive after super attack and defense. We have a couple missions. These missions are pretty straightforward and are kind of your run-of-the-mill missions that you have for every Extreme Z battle. So clearing the stage in under a certain time limit, clearing the stage with basically having a powerful comeback unit on the team, and clearing stage 20 a little bit higher as well. So all relatively straightforward missions. In terms of team build, obviously you want to build for the powerful comeback category. Now, because you're building the powerful comeback team, you've got a couple options. So in terms of lead, in terms of the powerful comeback team, you have a pretty solid lead. Obviously you have the Goku, or you can have the SSBE Vegeta. In terms of your tech options, obviously I'm showing them on screen. These are the majority of the pretty decent ones. You do also have the LR Gohan and the LR Jiren as well, which can also be pretty good options. In terms of the overall team build, I think you can build it a couple ways. You could build a fusion team, you could build a hybrid Saiyans team, you could build a Goku's family team, you can build a Super Saiyans team, or you can build a fusion or representatives of Universe 7 team. There's quite a few ways to slice and dice it. In terms of your free-to-play options, you don't have much. You have the Master Roshi LR, you have the Int Mystic Gohan, and that's pretty much it in terms of units that I would deem are pretty usable. You then also have this Goku and Gohan unit, but without their EZA, I don't really find them to be that useful. Also, they're a little bit difficult to fit on categories. If you have a powerful comeback lead, then it's more than fine. But if you don't have a powerful comeback lead, then rather resort to something like a pure Saiyans team, Super Saiyans team, Fusion team, Reps of Universe 7 team. Hybrid Saiyans is also fine. Goku's family is also okay. I'm just kind of shifting through all the different teams you can make and just giving you guys some decent ideas to kind of run with. Obviously, you want to try and avoid strength units if possible, and you want to maximize having tech units if possible. Notable units that I don't have includes Jiren, LR Tech Movie Gohan. Both are very good choices because obviously they're tech type. In terms of TURs, there's not many that I'm missing. Powerful comeback is a pretty irregular category, so it's still a little bit wonky. It's getting better, especially with this new 200% lead, with the buffs to the Tech Movie Vegeta as well. So you do have a lot of decent options with which to run, but definitely 100% you just need to kind of roll with the best team you can. Generally speaking, it's what I would say is 100% the best kind of, move to make. So me personally, I prefer the Super Saiyan team. That's what I will be using. The reason I like to use the Super Saiyan team is because it gives you the widest variety of leads. You can use the Tech Goku LR, you can use the Namek Goku LR, you can use the Strength Namek Goku, and you can use the Strength Super Saiyan Goku Gohan as a lead as well. So you have 4 different leads there. You can also use the AGL LR Goku as well. So you have literally 5 different leads. I've used all 5 of them while doing the event. So you have a ton of leads that you can utilize, and you have possibly the best one in the Tech Goku. So that would just be kind of my little note or tidbit, I would say, my little bit of advice that I would give you in terms of like which one to run. Now obviously there's quite a few EZAs that have come out here. We've got Cooler, we've got the Tech Vegeta, we've got the Strength Piccolo, and each of them have different strengths. Obviously, it is going to be a little bit interesting to see which one of them turns out being the best, but it will be quite interesting as a whole, I think. Now, obviously, we finished stage 1 there. You guys know I'll skip to stage 10, 20, and 30. And just kind of show you if the team develops or changes. Fortunately, in this one, it's pretty stock standard. The team, everything runs pretty smoothly. It's all the same team, all runs, roughly the same, and there's no real issues in terms of team build. So obviously, just to talk about the AGL Metal Cooler first. So he's got Ki +2 and attack and defense of 150%. He gains 20% with each attack received, which is nice. He builds up quite quickly, 20%, so it's just 5 attacks. He gets an additional Ki +1 and 20% crit chance if he's facing a superclass enemy, which is obviously great. He gets an additional Ki +1 and chance of additional crit of 20% when facing a Pure Saiyans. This is also pretty good because Pure Saiyans are very common enemies. The only disappointing thing about this is he's got a lot of crit chance when facing superclass enemies. Right now, a lot of the super hard content in the game is based on facing extreme type enemies. Now hopefully they bring out events that require you to face superclass enemies. Whether it's Infinite Dragon Ball History, an update to the Epic Collection of Battles, whether it's a blue zone or green zone or whatever they want to call it. But yeah, it would be nice if there was a way to, have some of these things proc in the harder content. You also get 10% health back at the end of turn in which an attack was received, which is pretty good. So Cooler looks really, really interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it all collides with his stats. I think he's a unit that can look a little bit deceptive on paper. You might think that he's, maybe a little bit behind the curve, but you'll see once all those, passives kind of interwove and build up, he's going to be very, very good. He's got attack and defense of 400% when all of his attacks are factored in, which is pretty good. Obviously, based on his super attack, he lowers enemies' attack and defense, also raises his attack for one turn. Feel like they could have just put defense here as well. If you're just going to raise attack by 20%, you might as well just put defense. Would have just, I think, rounded out his whole kit pretty nicely, at least from my perspective. Then, obviously, next we have the TEQ Vegeta. I think TEQ Vegeta is pretty good. Obviously, he has a nuking lead skill, so a leader skill that's helpful, particularly for events where you have to nuke. He greatly raises defense for one turn, causes supreme damage with a high chance of stunning the enemy, which is pretty good. He has attack and defense of 200%, which is really solid, and a chance of performing a crit of 20%. That's straight up very, very good. He has an additional attack and defense of 50%, and chance of performing a critical hit of 20% when there's another movie heroes category ally attacking in the same turn. Again, pretty basic, pretty simple requirement, relatively quite nice. So far, he's looking pretty good, if I'm honest. Then, he also has Key +2, plus an additional attack and defense of 50%, and chance of performing a critical hit of 30% when HP is 80% or less. So at this point, he's sitting with 70% critical hit chance, and he's sitting with plus minus quite a very, very high level of attack and defense. We're looking at roughly 375%, I think, in terms of his attack and defense, which is very, very good. Now, he has an additional Key +2, attack of 50%, and chance of performing a critical hit of 30% when HP is 50% or less. So basically, if you're below 50% health, he guarantees crits, and that's really, really good. He's going to have a pretty high attack stat as well. In terms of his super attack effects, he greatly raises defense, which is great, and he also causes supreme damage with a high chance of stunning the enemy, which I think is very, very, very solid. In terms of everything else, in terms of his HP attack and defense, EZA wise, he has 10,000 defense, which is okay. It's not the highest defensive stat. If you were to compare that, for example, to Cooler as a unit, who obviously, we know has that very big kind of bonus that he has. Cooler as a unit, in terms of his EZA stats, he has 15,000 defense. So although Vegeta's passive may look very impressive, he is missing around literally half of Cooler's defense, which will play an important factor into how their passives work. But if Cooler can hit 500,000, in terms of defense as a rainbow, then Vegeta can probably hit around 300k, 250k. Very similar to the TEQ final form Cooler. Very, very similar in construction. And then finally we have the Strength Piccolo. Now Strength Piccolo, again, nuking lead skill of 35% strength per strength orb. It raises defense for one turn and causes supreme damage with a medium chance of stunning all enemies. So an AoE stun, which is pretty good. And he also raises defense for one turn. He has attack and defense of 200%. Randomly changes key spheres to strength type and will gain attack and defense of 20% per key sphere obtained. He also has an additional attack and defense of 50% and chance of performing a critical hit of 20% when facing only one enemy, He has a guaranteed critical hit and Ki +6 when facing 2 or more enemies. So this guy is looking pretty solid. I actually think he looks really good. The only limit with him is obviously link skills. He's very much orientated towards being on an Namekian's team, and obviously just categories. Yeah, he's on movie heroes. That's basically kind of it. Namekians as well. Worthy Rivals, I guess, is also relatively functional. And then you have Bond of Master and Disciple, Battle of Wits, Gifted Warriors, and Fuse Fighters. He's okay on these teams, but he's not really inspiring me with confidence on them. And basically Namekians or movie heroes is where he's going to perform the best. Now, the bonus is that hopefully Namekians gets an EZA for physical Piccolo. And then this guy's going to look pretty good. I think he's a very strong unit. I did enjoy using him beforehand. He was a personal favorite of mine for a very long time. He did pretty well, really nice AoE damage. The AoE chance to stun is also obviously very powerful, and he could be a surprise, world tournament unit. He could be the kind of unit that really surprises people. Good unit for world tournament, good unit for a couple of challenges, good unit for SBR, ESBR. Yeah, I think he will be very good. Now obviously when facing one enemy he does gain additional bonuses, so we'll see how those play into him as a unit. But yeah, I think overall he could be quite fun. Again, his defensive stat is a little bit low comparatively to Cooler, with Cooler obviously being a DFE, so it's going to be interesting to see how good his defense is. But he does have a very strong link set. You have Brainiacs, Namekians, Prodigies, Experienced Fighters, Z Fighters, all decent links when you are looking at Piccolos. That's kind of the only bummer of this guy, is he's really kind of designed for Piccolo units, and we still don't really have that good Piccolo naming mechanism. We still just have a bunch of Piccolos. But yeah, for the most part he looks pretty good. We obviously completed all the missions, which is very good. Overall, I think this team did pretty well. There's so many different leads to choose from that running the team was very simple, which I think is good overall. In terms of everything else, obviously we just need to awaken Metal Cooler now. And Metal Cooler, yeah, we're going to awaken him. We'll do a little showcase on him, and then I will grind the medals, and we'll awaken and obviously deal with the Super Saiyan Vegeta, etc. But I think overall Metal Cooler looks pretty good. I'm interested to see how well he does. He doesn't have a 200% lead yet, if I am not mistaken. And I'm pretty certain the Cooler that drops from the summon banner will definitely be a 200% lead for this guy. So yeah, but overall he looks pretty good, and I'm excited to use him. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that we need to cover here. So obviously you can use some of the coolers from the story events to raise up his SA. But that's going to be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care, stay safe, and bye.